please welcome the Republican Party Chairman of Arkansas, Doyle Webb.
Thank you, and I'm glad to be here. As I came in the door, I advised that we need to move up on the schedule. I've got to be back in Little Rock for a meeting at 2 o'clock, which I chair. As you know, one of our House members resigned his nomination, and our executive committee, I called them into special session for the executive committee at 2 o'clock today, and I've got to be back at least by 1 o'clock to be ready for that, so I apologize. But I'm going to take time to eat lasagna before I leave, okay? Let me say this, I am blessed by the singing of the battle hymn. I call it the battle hymn of the Republicans. Okay? All right? It's even more important because Julie Ward Howe wrote that as a poem, and she is my ancestor. My maternal grandmother was a Howe, H-O-W-E, and I would be somewhere in the Bahamas if Elias Howe's invention of the sewing machine had not been stolen by Mr. Singer. But anyway, that song means a lot. Actually, Mike Huckabee read it at my mother's funeral a few years ago because it's a song that we love. It means a lot to us. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I have with me our Executive Director, Sarah Jo Reynolds. And what's unique about Sarah Jo is that she is not only one of the few female executive directors in the Republican National Committee, but she is the youngest executive director. Okay? There you go. And so I've been blessed. We have, she is the second female executive director that we've had since I've been chairman. We have we've had wonderful staffing that have gone on. Now Alicia Curtis is now the executive assistant to Governor Hutchison. Several of my staff have gone on. One year, everyone was hired. Well, matter of fact, after 2014 elections, all of my staff was hired away. I said, now I know what it is to be that little ugly puppy that's left in the box that no one chooses. Okay? No, I'm blessed. I love doing what I'm doing, and I want to just take a minute because a lot of you I know, but many of you don't. I don't know, and you don't know my long love of the Republican Party, and that my family is a fifth-generation Saline County family. That my grandfather never drove a car. He only drove a team of mules. He could barely write his name. He could not read. And I've ridden down Military Road in Benton on the wagon with my grandfather. Okay? And so from that, I've received the highest education. I have a law degree and practiced law for 25 years. I was the first Republican elected in Saline County back in 1986. And as you know, we have no Democrats in Saline County anymore. We just keep one in a cage so that people will know what one looks like. And we tell them not to feed them because they're so used to handouts. It's time to wean them, okay? First Republican elected, then we took control of the Senate. My wife was prosecuting attorney for a few terms down there. She's now head of the Workers' Comp Commission. I was chairman of the Saline County Committee in 1984 when we located the first polling place in the village in Saline County. And it was to the scare and horror of the Marble Township individuals who lived outside the village, who said, how are we going to get past those gates to vote? Well, it eventually came that there was several thousand in the village, and there was 34 outside the village, or some number, some such number. But anyway, I've long since been a lover of the village and supporter of the village. When I was in the state senate, I actually did the radio program in the village. You didn't have a Republican representing you, and you need to know what a Republican sounded like. In Arkansas, Republicans sounded like. How about that? Last story, when I went to work for Winthrop Rockefeller as his chief of staff, my first day with him was to come to the village and dedicate a new library. This would have been in 2002. And I remember riding over here in his beautiful Mercedes, silver Mercedes, riding into Republican heaven. And as we left, I looked and we were in his convertible. And incidentally, that was my first decision. He said, Doyle, should we go over with the top up or the top down? And I said, well, we should go over with the top up because we want to look good when we get there, but take the top down as we leave. So we're leaving the village in a beautiful Mercedes. I'm a former state senator. I have a Rockefeller as my chauffeur. I said, it just doesn't get any better than this, okay? So I love y'all. Let me tell you where we are. And we're in the battle of our lives.
Yes.
Okay? We're in the battle. If we could be the founding fathers, we are the founding fathers. Because either we prevail or we're back subjugated to a tyrant, you said. Something that we certainly don't want. You know, we certainly have tipped over the edge, I believe, into socialism quickly. You'll notice I have to show you this. My cufflinks, Dr. Jack, you need to see this. My wife bought these for me. They are Donald Trump heads. Okay? You just have to see them to believe them, okay? Your little Donald Trump heads on there, okay? I was not a Donald Trump supporter initially. I was a Mike Huckabee supporter because I knew Mike Huckabee since I was 17, okay? My wife, however, was a Donald Trump supporter and a Donald Trump delegate. She, if you know my wife, you don't question why she does what she does because she's very intelligent, very smart. So she went to the convention as a Donald Trump delegate because she believes our country needs someone to pull the drawer of government out of the cabinet and to dump it out. Okay? And then put the drawer back in and then pick up and put back in the drawer what we think government ought to be.
That's right.
Okay? So she sees Donald Trump as the person that's capable of doing that. I happen to believe that as well. He's my nominee. I've got two choices. Okay? I've got two choices. Just like I have throughout the time I've been voting. There's a Democrat and there's a Republican. There's others, okay? I remember one time we had 14 presidential candidates on the ballot in Saline County, okay? There's others, but either the Democrat or the Republican is going to be the presidential nominee. And I'm a lawyer, practiced law for 25 years. The most important thing about this election is the United States Supreme Court. You can disagree with anyone about any issue, but the number one challenge, whether we believe in freedom of religion, whether we believe in our Second Amendment rights, whether we believe our government is over-encroaching, whether it's pulled the elastic band of the elastic part of the Constitution so much that the government has broken that elastic, and I happen to believe that the Founding Fathers would be shocked at how stretched that little elastic provision is in the Constitution, okay? So, to me, the Supreme Court, number one issue. Number two issue, Obamacare. We got to get, you know, I was taught this. I've now been on the Republican National Committee for 8 years. That's something I never aspired to do. And I go to the meetings because it's good for Arkansas. I now happen to be the second most senior state chairman in the nation. And the National Committee has become more conservative, okay? during that time. I never envisioned that I would be there, never sought to be there. But Obamacare is the #1 issue. That's one thing we learned. We don't want the government between us and the sacred relationship that we have with our doctor. Okay? The government doesn't need to be there. Someone in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump will sign the repeal. Hillary Clinton will veto the repeal. Okay? Or we'll make it a single payer, which will even be worse. Okay? So there we've got those two issues. You know, this is a little bit of a funny story that my wife says. I happened to be in the village. I guess everybody knows where they were on 9/11. Okay? I happened to be in the village speaking to the village Republican Women's Group on 9/11. Okay? As a state senator. And my wife was on the East Coast at a place kind of like Quantico, getting training for disasters as a prosecuting attorney. They're in a lockdown, and they come on the TV and they say, the Twin Towers have been hit. Well, this group of people suddenly believes that that's their disaster that they're going to have to plan for, that it wasn't real life. Okay? And I always remember there was a sad feeling of that, but then I thought, the world, we suddenly got chaos in the world, and my wife is on the East Coast, and I'm in Benton, Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, and there's no flights, and the world's going to come to an end, and she's going to be over there, and I'm going to be over here. Well, she called. This is the funny part of that story. She called, and she said, was everything all right? I said, yes, it is. The Saline County Courthouse is safe. Nothing has blown up the courthouse, okay? When you're in old Saline County, and that's important, okay? So, security is, to me, it could be the first issue, it could be the third issue, but security. I firmly believe that Trump is very Reagan-esque in this. I believe that Reagan was able to bluff our way into seeing the demise of the Soviet Union and the wall come down in Germany. We had the ability, but sometimes having the ability and not using it is the greater ploy and the greater thing. And it doesn't bother me when I hear Trump argue various positions from a strong point of view, because I want my president to do that. You're never going to bring someone to the table if you don't have a strong position on this. If there's a red line and someone crosses the red line, you blow them out of the water, okay, or whatever you need to do, or else your word is worth nothing after that. Yeah, blow them somewhere. That's right. So, the Supreme Court, Obamacare, security, I'm speaking from my heart on what I believe. I believe we've got to get rid of, and I know that he will, and I know this for a fact, that Chris Christie, who is heading the transition team, and Bud Cummins, who was leading the campaign here in Arkansas, has now joined the transition team. They are already working on the regulations that must be repealed, because it takes time to do that, running it through the Department of Justice, so that he can repeal or rescind those as soon as he takes office. And I believe that the removal of Obamacare and the removal of these regulations, whether they're environmental regulations or business regulations, will give business certainty enough that we'll be able to get the economy going again, and people can look at opportunities for careers. Education I'm not speaking about, because I don't think the federal government ought to be in the business of education. Okay? It clearly should be a state's and a local entity's right to make those determinations, but we've got to get the federal government off our back, and nothing puts more of an exclamation point on that than when the president says that we're going to have transgender bathrooms. Okay, I thought, never when I was growing up at Benton High School did I ever have any concern that there would be a woman in my bathroom or that a male would be in the women's restroom, and that if they were, they would be kicked out of school forever, you know. So those are the things I see initially. You know, I believe in tax reform. I believe in lowering taxes. I believe you've got to cut the money off to reduce the size of government. Okay. Let me jump over. I see Myra here. Let me talk a little bit about immigration. Okay. I think Trump. They'll argue and say, well, what's Trump's position on immigration? What are we going to do about those individuals that are in this country now illegally? And I have to always go back to the statement is, what do you not understand about the word illegal? Okay? It's illegal. Okay, so what are we going to do? We need to find out who those individuals are. I certainly believe that if you've been convicted of a crime and you're not here legally, you need to be gone yesterday. Okay? The federal government and the president's going to have to figure out what to do with the rest and how to change that system. Certainly, there's got to be a wall. There's got to be security. We saw that with Reagan, that he allowed there to be a transition of those that had come here illegally, but the wall or the fence or the security was never built. So it continued to happen. So those who comply with the law should not be punished by those who are not complying by the law. And that's what is happening, whether it's with our Social Security or unemployment benefits. You know, as I told you, my wife is head of workers' compensation in Arkansas. And did you know that if you're an illegal alien and you're hurt working in Arkansas, that you can draw workers' compensation benefits? Because you comply with the term a worker. Doesn't have to be a legal worker, you're a worker. So let me, what have I not talked about? One thing I would encourage you to do is to go to our website. Our state platform is on our website. It's 11 pages long. It's the best platform that I think we have ever put forth. It's very readable. Matter of fact, I read it the first time and I teared up when I got to the end of it. I thought, oh, it just made me tear up. I'm just, you know, I've seen the growth of the party and I see where we are. Now let me say this, and I'm going to wrap up. Am I happy with everything that the Republican Party is doing or has done or its candidates? No, I'm not. Okay? But I sure wasn't happy when we were a majority Democrat state. And I sure wasn't happy when I was in the state Senate and there were 27 Democrats and 8 Republicans, and Mike Beebe came to me and said, well, Senator Webb, why do you Republicans always vote together? I said, well, Senator Beebe, why do you 27 Democrats always vote together? I mean, we are making progress. We will make progress. We will continue to make progress. And if we don't, I am hopeful that someone will run against the person that you don't think is making the progress. We'll have a good primary, and we'll shift the party in that direction, because we're going to be the majority party for a long time. Let me stop here and answer any questions that y'all have.
Okay, let me take the mic to whoever.
Yeah.
I don't need your microphone.
But we like it anyway.
I don't like it. I think you can forget all of your 3 or 4 priorities if Hillary Clinton gets in office.
I agree.
Well, then you better make that the #1 priority.
Okay,
That went without saying.
Okay.
You
said you might. Hey, you got a question now?
Yeah, question.
Okay.
Make it easy.
Okay, I'll make it fairly easy here. You see that there could be a possibility with a libertarian candidate that a majority of the electors will not come to a conclusion on voting for a president. Is it possible that the presidency of the United States could be thrown to the House of Representatives? That's my question.
You know, I would say, you want me to use that?
If you would.
I would say in this election year, anything is possible. Okay? I think in this election year, anything's possible. I don't think we should count on that. You know, as I was growing up and, you know, now as I enter 60-hood, I'm entering 61-hood, I think I tell people, all Republicans at some point started out as libertarians, okay? And I think that all Republicans are somewhere libertarian on the scale of libertarianism. But I think today that libertarianism may be attracting more of the liberals than it is more of the conservatives, okay? I just see that. But I think the answer is yes. Now let me go back to your question about if Hillary wins all my numbers.
That's not a question.
I know that. I agree with you 100%. Let me challenge you, okay? There is, Sarah Jo has the number of the coordinator for Trump in Arkansas, that if you want to be at your home and participate in the campaign, they have what's called Trump Talk, where you use your own phone and you call into other states. They give you the list of where they need to call. We're not worried in Arkansas. We've got a 12-point lead. What we're doing is we're trying to run up the score so that we can elect more state reps, state senators, county judges, and things like that. Okay? We're running up the score. We just got in 16,000 yard signs. Okay, our county committees are fired up. So Sarah Jo has the number for Trump Talk. Also, we have a headquarters at the Garland County headquarters, a young man who I graduated from high school with his dad. Rusty is there, and you can make phone calls from there in this area. We've got a state rep down in Arkadelphia that we want to win re-election. The Democrats see him as a target. They have a trial attorney running against him, and he's a Arkansas Works supporter. Our candidate is an anti-Works, anti-Obamacare supporter. So we want Richard Womack to win down there. So you can always help Trump and Richard Womack and others by working at the headquarters in Garland County.
600 Washita Avenue.
600 Washita Avenue. Other questions?
Okay. Dr. Jack, I'm amazed that you haven't raised your hand with a question. You always have a question.
I usually let others speak
Okay,
first.
all right. Who else has a question?
Dr. Jack is always very kind to me. I've actually been...
You'll have to come closer. I can't reach that far.
Well, I got a couple for you later, so
Okay.
I got to say that again.
Wait a minute, maybe I'll have to leave.
How serious a threat do you view the voter, irregularities in voting, like fraud, particularly in other states?
Okay. I don't worry too much about it in Arkansas now, because first time in 140 years, the Republicans control all 75 election commissions in Arkansas. So I'm not worried to any extent here. I'm a little worried in other states, but let me say this. Anytime you hear that Trump doesn't have a lot of a campaign team or people on the ground, let me assure you that the Republican National Committee has close to 500 people on the ground in the battleground states, and have had people there for over a year doing the work that needs to be done. The difference is the party has put the people in place on our campaign. Hillary has had to put the people in place on their campaign because the Democratic National Committee has essentially been broke. Okay? We were surprised that they could put on the convention this year.
While his lasagna continues to cool, we have another question here from Dr. Jay.
Don't want it to be too hot.
Hi, good afternoon. I just started working closely with the Convention of States. So I'm going to tie this into your statement about the Supreme Court. A lot of people don't know a lot about the Convention of States yet. That's part of one of the jobs that they want me to do here.
You are going to ask me a question.
Yes, well, I had to preference it. Okay. Number one, do you support the convention of states? And if so, can we get a link on your website over to information regarding this? One of the proposed amendments is about the Supreme Court and actually term limits, and that includes the Supreme Court.
Our party has not taken a position on the Convention of States, okay? Therefore, I have no position on the Convention of States, but my door would be open and is open to talk at length about it. I would be very interested in knowing the ins and outs. Now, let me say, I always come from the position of being a conservative and being very concerned about tinkering with the Constitution, okay? But my door is open. This is the first time I've gotten the question, so I'm very willing to hear and meet with anyone about it, okay? I understand, I'm familiar. I've taught American national government, so I understand what you're talking about. Yes.
One quick thing, to mention the states doesn't tinker with the Constitution, but my question is, on electoral votes, in Arkansas, are they proportioned or are they the winner take all?
That's a good question.
How is that nationally?
That's a good question. You heard his question. In Arkansas, the 6 electoral votes are winner take all. Now, each party chooses their 6 electors. The Democrats choose 6, we choose 6. Our 6 have to sign an affidavit saying that they will vote for the Republican nominee. Because even though it's winner take all, an individual has the right to cast their vote the way they wish to cast it. They would be in violation of state law, but they could still do that. But we do have them. That's the reason we're very careful of electing our electors. Our electors are the 4 Republican district chairmen and women, and our Republican National Committee man and National Committee woman. All solid Republicans. In other states, that is not the case. There, I believe, either Maine and maybe Nebraska apportion theirs, and certainly Arkansas could apportion its if it ever chose to do so. We have not done so. Okay.
Are all the other states then?
Other states, my understand, are winner take all.
There's no chance for a third party.
No chance for a third party. You're right. When it comes to electoral college, a good question. Very good question. I've got to go. I'm going.
The first one will be a semi-statement, semi-question. The other night I was watching Sean Hannity and Trump was being interviewed. It was a town hall, a couple of thousand people in the audience, and something happened there that I really liked. He looked out at the audience and he said about the illegal alien issue, immigrant issue, what do you want me to do with people that have been here for 15, 20 years and never gotten in trouble, are employed, and what do you want me to do? And a tiny percentage of the people said, send them back to Mexico. And the majority overwhelmingly said, let them stay. And I got the sense, but no amnesty, no citizenship, no voting. And I thought, this is terrific, because Trump, instead of being labeled a flip-flopper, could say, my constituency wants this. I have to listen to my constituency. And then I watched the other night when he gave his 10-point immigration plan, and I was waiting for him to be able to say compassionately, because my constituency says these folks should stay, I'm changing my position, and I think everybody would have gone nuts, and he would have gained a lot, and he didn't do that. So my first question, the easy question is, why do you think he didn't do it?
You know, I assume that they have polling that says that he should do it. That's what I'm going to assume, okay? But I love that he should not change his position, okay? But I did love that. I said, when have you ever heard the President of the United States, certainly not this one, look out in a group of people and say, what do y'all think?
But then he didn't do it.
And then he didn't do it. But you know, it may bear on him, okay? But listen, that's not going to keep me from voting for Trump,
Oh, no,
okay?
neither.
But I think
he missed an opportunity.
well, I think we are missing an opportunity as Republicans to reach out and bring in the Latino community. Our values are the same, okay? We've all committed wrongs, okay? Even you, Dr. Jack, at some point you made a mistake in your life.
I wrote a book about it.
That's it. And we've been forgiven, and we need to always think about that. So, all right, I'm going to give this to you for another. You got a tough one for me?
Well,
I agree with you. I heard that. First off, he drives me crazy on his way he speaks, okay? I don't need a filibuster, okay? I don't have to be give me the 10 points. Tell them to me one time. You don't have to repeat it. Get it delivered to me, okay? But I'm not his speech coach, okay?
all right. Here's the second thing. As chairman of the Garland County Tea Party, I think you all know I am not a bleeding heart liberal.
Well, that settles that.
But here's my question. As much as I don't like Obamacare as it is set up today, I really have not heard the Republicans come up with an alternative that really helps everybody. When I hear them talk about let's have insurance across state lines, well, that may lower the premium, but only for the people that can afford it. It doesn't lower the premium for people that can't afford it. I've really not heard Republicans come up with an alternative that does attempt to insure everyone so that everyone can have health care.
And you have a question, right, Doc?
So the question is, am I wrong? Has Republicans come up with a plan? That's the question. If I haven't heard it, he knows it, that's the question.
That's easy. I did that to Dr. J, too.
That's good. Let me say this. I love Dr. Jack. I know Dr. Jack. I've been in their home. They have a beautiful home. I've been disappointed that we haven't articulated what our plan is, okay? What is this mystical plan, okay? And I know someone knows what it is, but I'd like to know it. I don't want to pass it and then read to see what's in it, okay? We've been down that road before, but I have not heard it. I'm with you. I wish the House would present. It's one thing, when you become the majority, you just can't be against. You have to be for something. You have to have programs, okay? Obamacare is failing, but there's people out there that need health care, okay? And I don't want someone dying in the streets because they need health care, okay? So it's way above my pay grade to know what the plan is.
I just thought you might know it.
I don't know what it is. I have no secret in my billfold that has the plan, okay? But I'm assured that there's a plan somewhere, okay?
I don't know.
One word is all we have time for here.
I really believe that that the American people have a heart, and I believe that one of the big issues with American people, and I do have a question, is the cost that the illegal immigrants are costing the country and the counties and the state. What happened, Doyle, to years ago when immigrant came into the country? They were sponsored. They had to be sponsored, and they also had to, that sponsor had to find them a job. Now they just flood over and nobody's responsible for anything except the taxpayers. And I believe this is one of the areas that is really fueling the illegal immigrants coming into the country is the cost. Doyle, whatever happened to that being sponsored, and why can we not go back to that?
Yeah, that's a good, that is legal immigration. You've articulated the problem that we've had people flood over. Used to, we had quotas of, okay, we need this, we need this, we need this. Nothing wrong with any of that. But I think that's where you've got unfortunately, to build the wall. Or build, and I don't know if it's going to be a wall or if it's going to be a 20-foot tall fence or what it's going to be, but you've got to stop the flood, okay? Before anyone has any confidence in what we're doing, okay? Build that wall, there you go. We're all immigrants, you know. Some of my Latino friends, I have rental property. Latinos I would rent to any day of the week because they improved my property. They are very prideful individuals, but we've got to have legal immigration. And then I think Dr. Jack articulated, you know, I don't know that we busload everybody out of this country, okay? We're going to have something to where people feel good that they are paying taxes, that they're not just working on the cash economy. If you're going to get the benefits, you got to pay. You know, so we've just got to fair up. No one likes unfairness. But by the same token, we Republicans are not. We are compassionate people, and so many times we're viewed as being non-compassionate people. We're very compassionate. You know, I want for that individual that lives in the hood, wherever, to have a great job. But the way for him or her to get there is not for me to give him benefits and him to live off that, okay? So anyway, I love y'all. Yes, Myra. I want to say one thing about Pat Rhodes back there. Pat Rhodes is on our finance committee, and he has helped us in many ways. He is the papa of the Henry rifles that we give away. So give him a round of applause. His greatest redeeming factor is his daughter, who was Miss Arkansas in 1999. That's right.
I want to clear the record. I married up.
There you go.
My daughter took after her mother.
There you go. Myron.
I just got a comment on what you said about this is a country that is fair, you know. And I'm a legal immigrant, did things right. So how is that fair? That all of these people can cross and to be welcome. And, you know, how do you think that people like me feel? Like we're idiots. We're stupid because we did it right. And if you know, I don't care what everything you do has a consequence. And I do not believe that we should stand and say, you know, okay, it's too many people, or we're not compassionate. I just don't buy it. I think that right is right. Either you do things right or you don't. And it's not, you know, you have the choice and you made the wrong choice, as far as I'm concerned.
Myra, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
I agree with everything you just said. So I don't understand why the legal Latino immigrant to this country who is a citizen and votes, why does he vote with the Democrats to let more in than with the Republicans who want to do what you say? Why is it that you're one of the few?
Well, I think that's also a misconception. I know a lot of legal immigrants, and that's not true.
Well, that's good to hear.
You know, they are. I mean, they are Democrats. There are a lot of, you know, people, Americans that are Democrats. But I don't think that just because you're Latin, you're Latino, you are a Democrat. That's just not true anymore.
But that's what the polls seem to say. Okay. You gotta go.
Yeah, and Myra, he has a presentation to make on behalf of the Hot Springs Village Tea Party. And you can open it up. This is a kind of a children's book about the life of Ronald Reagan. As you all know, there's written in the Holy Scriptures that if you want to enter the kingdom of God, you need to become like a little child.
That's right.
And so this maybe will help. I mean, a politician and a lawyer, they can use all the help they can get,
Let me
right?
say this.
We know you're
In 1980, I was a delegate to the Republican National Convention at 25 and voted for Ronald Reagan to be the nominee. Thank y'all. Let's get out and win this, okay?